Good evening and welcome to the February 10th meeting of the Falmouth Conservation Commission. First off, if any electronic devices, cell phones, would you please silence them? It would be greatly appreciated. If you're here to speak on any of the applications tonight, we encourage you to do so. We just ask that you take the podium and give your name for the record. And remember to speak into the microphone because we are being recorded by FCTV. Okay, first up is request for determination of applicability. Robert and Mary Chase, 2 Brockton Street, East Falmouth, Mass. For permission to construct a second-story addition on top of the existing foundation within the footprint of the existing home. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the staff reviewed the project. We are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So move.
Second.
I heard Courtney and Maury on the second. Comments or questions from the commission? Comments or questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Next up is Robert McLaughlin, 218 Chappaquay Road, West Falmouth, Mass. For permission to install a hoot denitrification septic system, which includes the installation of a Title V system with a black water tank. Jen.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the staff has reviewed the project. We are recommending a -2 under the state and the bylaw with the resource area boundaries not confirmed.
So move.
Second. You got Courtney and Mike on the second. Any other comments or questions from the commission?
In 3 words or less, what is a hoot tonight?
Yeah, I think I saw her. There she is.
Aren't you glad I asked that question?
Good evening, Corinne Peterson for the Buzzards Bay Coalition on behalf of the applicant. Hoot system is a denitrification system. It's a 2-tank system. The first tank operates as a nitrifying tank, and the second tank operates as a denitrifying tank before it is discharged into a soil absorption system.
Is it more efficient? Is it better used all year round, or is it okay to be just for summer use?
It's okay to be used for summer use.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Could I have your name again? I'm sorry.
Corinne Peterson, Korrin.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Have a good night.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Anything else from the commission? I was thinking the same thing, Courtney. So. Any comments from the public? Questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved. Cadet Enterprises, 1184 Sandwich Road, East Falmouth, Mass. Permission to construct a commercial building, including the installation of a 10-foot-high concrete block wall, Title V sewage disposal system, catch basins, drainage basins, bituminous concrete paving, parking, driveways, utilities, fenced-in dumpsters, and the associated clearing, excavating, landscaping, all work outside of conservation jurisdiction. Jen?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, the applicant is withdrawing their request for a determination.
Does that require any motion on our part?
No, they just withdrew it.
Whereabouts is this, Jen?
Could be down by the base, that end?
That end, yeah.
Okay, thanks. I just, 1184 is a long way down the road. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
It's got to be almost down to the
Right,
landing.
so no action needed.
So no action needed on that
Backwards.
one? So we don't even have to accept that they're withdrawn? Okay. All right, next up is request for hearing under notice of intent. All hearings of the Falmouth Conservation Commission are held simultaneously under the authorities of the Massachusetts Wetland Protection Act and the Falmouth Wetlands Bylaw. Although a single decision of the commission is issued, it represents a separate decision under each authority. And first up, we have Chappaquay Associates, Lot 22E, Associates Road, West Falmouth, Mass. For permission to improve the upland and parking area at Little Beach with improvements that include grading, compacting the parking spaces from the beach to the road, installation of 450 linear feet of water service tubing from the main to an existing pier, erecting a seasonal tent between the parking and the beach, the replacement of incidental items such as gas grill, bike rack, rinse station, etc. The removal and reconfiguration of the parking lot, boulders, perimeter relocation of the cedar tree, installation of a cedar rail fence, native shrubs and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen.
save any more comments or questions until after the
Question.
presentation.
Gesundheit.
Glad to.
Evening, Jeff. Good, how are you?
Hi, good evening, I'm Jeff Ryther with BSS Design. Also with me tonight is Gene Bard with the Chappaqua Associates, Chris Horiuchi with Horiuchi Celine Landscape Architects, and they've done the plan. It's on file as well. This plan done by BSS Design shows the resource areas. We've got land under the ocean, land containing shellfish, mainly down here. We got coastal beach, salt marsh, and the whole area is in an AE flood zone, I believe. I'm sorry, a VE flood zone. It's on the notes here. And that zone comes to right here, AE on this side, VE on this side. So the proposal tonight is to sort of update the little parking area, sort of shrinking the impervious surface, improving the entrance and exit area, kind of bringing those down, necking them down, replanting. Chris will talk about that. We've also shown some split rail fence to delineate the parking. We got 3 areas of parking. Right now, it's sort of a free-for-all. It fits many more cars currently, but they didn't want to park so many cars in one little spot. Also, a little improvement to the end of the pier, which is deteriorated, a little ramp area. You just had mentioned a rinse station, a new bulletin board, a new flagpole, a new grill. Minor stuff that's been there for, decades, but we're just updating it, showing it on a plan. We also show a 3-month or a seasonal pier for 3 months, June, July, August. Did I say pier? I'm sorry. This is a tent. It's 16 by 32. I gotta grab my glasses. I'm sorry, folks. Sorry about that. So again, the tent here is for the summer season, 3 months. We had mentioned about, well, you described the water service. That's the water service coming down here to the rinse station at the end of the dock. Bike racks, a porta potty. These are, again, things that are occurring there year after year. They're taken away and they put them in the barn. But we wanted to show them and permit them. Also, here at the edge of the tent is a new stone wall. It's very low. It's a sitting wall delineating the sort of the area of activity to the beach, so there's no more walking over that slope. Not much of a slope, but it's, a barrier basically. And we'd like to also move a cedar tree. There's an 8-inch cedar. We'd like to move it sort of away from this activity to this area in the dune where there's other cedars. And lastly, this is an area that they store their small sailing dinghies, and these are little opti boats. They're about 8-10 feet long. This is an after-the-fact permit. These were just rebuilt. But they have had racks here for decades, but this is a new set of racks, so we permitted, or we applied under after the fact and, paid the extra fee for that. Winter storage of the float is down here. That's about it. I'm going to let Chris talk a little bit about the restoration. And we'll open it up for questions.
So as Jeff mentioned, we have kind of a expanse of paved area, and what we're trying to do here is make it more efficient by reducing it, kind of channeling people to specific areas rather than have this free-for-all. And our ways of doing that at the entry, for example, is instead of having this, 40-foot wide curb cut that kind of comes into this area, to kind of define that down to an 18-foot wide neck at both areas, and then augment the paved areas or replace the paved areas with native planting, then all shrub planting. In addition, we have another area here to kind of separate where the parking is from an existing area that's paved with another area of native planting, Virginia rose, bayberry, beach plum, and arrowwood viburnum.
I guess that wraps up our presentation, and we'd be glad to answer questions.
Jen?
Yes, Jeff, Mark and I have some concerns of how you've delineated the salt marsh, so we're gonna have to go out there and relook at that.
Okay.
I do believe your 4 existing unpermitted boat racks that you're trying to permit now are actually in marsh. Mark was kind of concerned about that. I have some concerns about transplanting the cedar into an area that's vegetated. You're going to disturb that area. I don't think the cedar's really, it's 10 feet away from your proposed wall. The board can decide if they want to accept the proposed wall because, this whole area is a velocity zone. What's your rinse station going to be like? Is it going to be enclosed like an outdoor shower, or is it just going to be a pole?
More of a pole type, not an outdoor
It's not
shower.
going to be enclosed.
Right,
So you're going on record saying it's not going to be enclosed.
that's correct.
Okay. All right. And
It's the shower towers like at the beach, that type of thing?
Right, but it's going to be more of a plumber's product.
Right, well,
Than-
they're
than
gonna
a
have to
fancy,
contact the building department, because it's probably gonna need backflow prevention on, I know it doesn't have anything to do with this, but just so you know. Okay,
All right.
sorry, Jim.
No, it's okay. And can you let me know, what is the outdoor grill? Is it going to be just a big stone constructed outdoor grill?
Oh, no, just the portable
It's just
type.
going to be a portable one?
Yeah, we would buy it somewhere.
Gene, you want to come?
Sir, you gotta come, if you're gonna speak, you gotta go up to the, thank you, and just identify yourself.
I'm Gene Bard, I'm a trustee of Chappaquiddick Associates. It would just be something you go to Home Depot and buy the
Okay.
grill.
No, I just didn't know if it was going to be one of these big fancy
it's
stone
not-
built-in
No, it's not,
brown grill.
it's not permanent either.
Okay, that's all I needed to know. And that's it. The salt marsh stuff we're gonna have to go out and look at. The tent, again, it's in a velocity zone, so the board can decide on that, and I don't have any concerns about the planting. That's it.
Thank you, Jen. Courtney?
No questions.
Kristen?
I'm just concerned about transplanting the cedar, like Jen had said, if it's necessary. The rinse station was originally there also? That's it?
No, they have another little spot where they have water service now down here, and they basically rinse off their feet with that, but that's about all there is.
Okay, so this is moving closer to the water, okay.
Basically, as you come off the beach or off the dock, you have a little rinse spot there.
Okay, that's it for me.
That's it, Kristen? Thank you. Maureen?
Jeff, I had a couple questions. First, I want to correct the architect, landscape architect. I don't believe it is paved. You stated it was a paved parking. It's a sand parking lot?
Yes.
Okay. Because I just saw it isn't paved. At least it wasn't today. Jen already touched on the salt marsh delineation. I see that the dock is licensed, but then I see that there are floats over here that are being stored currently in the upland. Are they also licensed? Because I don't, see- they're not out, I know they're up here now, but when they're in the water, are they licensed?
I believe, I'd have to research that license
Okay.
more, but
That would be good, just to make sure they are. The relocation of the cedar, the stone wall in the V-zone, it's a mortared wall, and I see no reason to put that kind of structure in the V-zone, so I'm not for that at all. The tent, I did call the building department, and I guess this has to go in front of ZBA, because it's going to be for 3 months. So it's a zoning board issue, they can only give a 30-day. But I have great concerns with that, because it is, it's in the windborne debris region, wind exposure category B, and this is a really exposed area, and it's during the peak of hurricane season. And a seasonal tent there is, and not only that, the impact of lighting on the wildlife, if they're gonna use it at night with music and lights and all that. It's a very quiet area, so if we did say the tent was okay as a seasonal, or ZBA does, that there'd be no lighting and no night use unless it was, very rare, but if it was all the time, I just think that's a great impact on the wildlife. Is this water line gonna be seasonal?
is the, yes.
They have to be.
Okay, well, I just wanna make sure, because it's not gonna be a 4.5-foot dig.
No, I don't, something half that probably, but,
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like irrigation line.
right.
So it could be very shallow, so you could blow it out. I just don't
Yes.
want that much digging in that area. That's a lot of digging.
I think Gene wants this.
I would
Okay.
just add, there's going to be no electricity, so the opportunity to have a lot of lights is diminished.
Okay, good, thank you. That clarifies that. The opening, you said, is currently 40 feet, but now it's going to just be 36 feet?
No, we're narrowing it down to 18, but currently it extends, I don't know, approximately, it's probably double the size that it currently is right
All right, so if it's 40-foot wide now, and you're going to do 18 and 18, so then it's 36.
36.
Yeah, so it's only 4-foot difference.
now. No, 18, I'm talking about this large one over here.
Okay. All right, I'm just using what you said. And then, when you're talking about the compaction, it says grade parking surface smooth and compact. Are you bringing anything in, because you said you're going to, grade
No,
it?
that would be, just like you said, it's a sort of a wind-blown sand over a hardened surface, and it does have some potholes, and so we're just trying to level them off and compact.
Okay, so you're not going to be bringing in dense grade or anything like that?
No,
You're just going
no.
to grade it out?
Just use what we got there.
Okay, the other question I have, you're going to be, you're proposing 108 lineal feet of fencing in a V-zone, and none of it is for what I call safety purposes or security, like a swimming pool, or that a car is going to go off an edge. So it's more of a delineation, is that what it's for?
Yeah, it's split rail fence, so it's not like we're putting in a solid barrier, it's just.
Right,
It's just to delineate parking in a gravel, because we're not going to be using paint on the
so it's
on the gravel.
primarily you need the posts as the
posts are
delineations?
the delineation of the stripes.
Okay, because all of the fencing is where it will be up against vegetation, so I didn't understand why you would need to put more stuff into a V-zone and up against, native vegetation. I mean, it'd be good, because then people won't cut it, but, so, all right, that clarifies that. So it's basically for delineation?
It's for delineation. You'll see
Okay.
that I call it out as 9 foot on center, the posts.
Yep, I did see that.
Instead of stripes at 9 feet.
Yep, and they're gonna have little signs probably saying, park here, or something on the
Well,
fence?
I don't know what they're going to do, but
Okay.
that's about
I don't care about
where
that.
we left it, just, split rail fence. for
Okay, then the next
delineation.
thing I have, existing boat launch. I see no boat launch there. So are you saying you're dragging stuff across you go
Well,
down the driveway or down the parking lot, and then where do you go from there?
That's
it kinda
basically,
stops.
I'll have to look at the plan. You're talking about right here, there's no launching boats off the back of a truck. It's basically just taking the boats that come from the barn in the early summer and bringing them, just basically carrying them
Okay,
down
So it's just
here.
carrying, so that's why it stopped there, that's what I assume, that you're just picking the omnis up and stuff and dragging them or carrying them to the water.
Right, it's just like this is the main route for putting boats in this facility. This is a little sailing, school here.
Yeah.
And,
Well, I just don't want it to become a boat launch, meaning,
No,
there
there's-
used to be an old railway there,
yeah,
but it's already, it's gone.
There's actually a little piece of it called out on the plan. I don't know if you can see it or not, but somewhere in this area, there's a rail.
It's an old rail.
We
It's
did
been gone for 40
It was
years.
there.
So, okay, then, why are you removing boulders? You're gonna remove boulders and provide level space for proposed garbage bin. Why wouldn't you just put the
Well,
garbage bin?
It's a disturbed area then, already it's got, an item that was sort of plunked there, and they just want to take that away. At one point, they used boulders as sort of delineation of the perimeter,
Okay,
and they just didn't think that that was ideal for this area. So
Okay.
we're pulling all the boulders out, or we'd like to. And in this case, there would be a disturbed spot, so we put a trash bin in its place, basically.
okay, that makes sense. And then as long as the water line and now, is this owned by the association?
The property?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so they have no problem with the planting in the association road, which is a private road?
I wouldn't think so.
Okay.
No, this has been approved by the association.
Okay, excellent, and I like the plantings. I think maybe the viburnum might not be that great out there, because it's pretty harsh, but other than that, thank you.
My bases have been covered.
Betsy?
Hurricane plan. I don't
Hurricane
have a problem
plan.
with the tent, but does the association have a hurricane plan? You know,
Well, this tent would come down pretty quick.
well,
If
yeah,
it's-
but my question was, do they have the plan? And the answer was no. So my suggestion is that the association develop a 48-hour, 24-hour plan so that there are people mobilized
It's not
to
happening.
move this stuff.
It's
I
not
mean-
happening.
I can tell you when there's a hurricane, people's first thought is, how am I gonna protect my house? But this is association property, and so if you have people who say, well, we've gotta do that also ahead of time, rather than when everybody's panicked, it helps. So my suggestion is that, you sit with the association members and maybe talk to Jeff and some of the people and say, what are the most important things to have on this plan? That's all.
Well, one thing I could tell you about that is that, obviously, there's, you'd see it forecasted, whether or not it's really going to hit or not, but I think at some point they're going to say, okay, we got to take it down.
Well, I know, I've
Then
been through,
they're going to drop
I've
it.
been through Category 4
then,
and Category
I
3
understand.
hurricanes.
But I'm just trying to tell you, there's a barn on the just down the street, and they store all what they can in there.
Right.
in
Well,
case
that's
of
what I'm
hurricane.
saying. But what you want to do is, and Hui has this plan. I mean, Mary and I get a message, 48 hours out. There's a hurricane coming. Everybody hopes that the hurricane's going to miss you, but these are the steps you have to take today.
Secure your
These are the steps you're
equipment.
going to have to take tomorrow.
Right.
And that's the kind of plan you should have. I mean, I don't have a problem with the tent, as long as it's going to be windy there sometimes, so you got to make sure it's secure. But I do.
Well, it's basically the tent you're concerned about, but there's, some other
Well,
minor
there's a
items.
Trash, somebody was just
The
mentioning
grill.
trash cans.
The grill, the trash can, the porta potty,
Right.
everything.
All those should be out of there if there's a storm.
Sure.
You good, Mayor? Betsy?
I'm good. Longer than I intended to be.
Mary?
Just to follow up on the hurricane thing, I think maybe one of the most basic things, given the area, is to have some systematic way of knowing who's around and who's responsible for mobilizing in the event of a hurricane, and what, if somebody, the responsible party is not in the neighborhood at the time, then what happens? Who's next? That kind of thing.
Got it.
The only other question I have concerns the water service. And I'm just not clear on whether this is entirely new. That's the way the discussion seemed to be going, but from the legend, it says existing water service, so I was assuming you're just replacing piping. Which is it?
Well, there is some existing water service that serves a house across the street, right here. You can't tap onto that little service, so we're going up the street to tap into that main, which dead ends. And I noticed that Mr. Rafferty is here, and I need to make an appointment. In fact, I have a transmittal letter all prepared for him, but I wanted to come here tonight and then eventually talk with him about that.
Okay, well,
But there is, a long water service to the site.
but does it go to where the rinsing station is going to be? Because
Yes. if you
Yeah.
look
it
at
does, okay, all
That
right.
goes all the way across.
All right, yeah, I see it. I just wasn't sure if that's supposed to be old or new or what. Right,
So it exists now?
No.
All right, that's what Mary was asking.
The one that exists now is on the other side of the street.
okay, well, then your legend is misleading. You see what I'm saying?
It's
It says
proposed.
existing water service, but then I call out the other.
Yeah, but see the,
Well, it's got that W symbol all the way to where the new service is going,
See the-
so,
see the entry to the south? You have a note that says, widen entry to 18 feet, removes old water service.
yeah. So the whole thing is very confusing to me as to what's existing and what's proposed.
Some of
And-
the piping isn't, I know that it comes down here, time card provided to us by the town. I don't know about from here to there.
Jeff, why don't you just call the proposed water service from Associates Road to your rinse station, PW? And so
Yeah.
there's
Well, I mean, there
no
is a
confusion.
difference, it's actually a slanted W with a little heavier text versus the lighter weight, what I call an L80.
Just make it clear for them, Jeff.
Just
Our
say
eyes are
proposed
like
one.
yours, Jeff. We don't always get those fine distinguishing points.
But there is a difference in the line types, but
Okay,
I'm
I don't
sorry.
see any PW, it's been,
it's just the W,
Well,
the
that's
heavier
suggested.
W.
oh, okay.
See,
All right,
this is bold. See, that's bold. This is lighter and it's a little bit, that's
wow.
stance.
Okay,
There you go,
then.
you got it,
I got
you
it.
got it.
But PW would be easier.
Okay, that's all.
Okay.
All right, Jeff, we're gonna need to reevaluate that salt marsh or go out and kind of come into some agreement of where that line is. Do you go, Jeff, are you gonna have to go to ZBA?
Well, I'm not sure, if it's really 3 months, I'm gonna cut it short, because I don't think this is an opportunity to really,
Yes,
Because
they
if you
do.
have to go to ZBA, you have, before you come back next time, you have to put an application into the ZBA. So,
Right.
I would double check that, okay?
Now,
And then,
did you, I'm sorry, somebody here did
I
check
did.
on, oh, more did.
Yes,
so
I called the building department, and
If it's
you-
up for
they
more
can-
than 3 months.
They can only give a 30-day, after 30 days, it has to go in front of ZBA with a butter notification.
Oh, 30 days, okay.
and you're gonna research that dock for us, and you're gonna develop a hurricane plan. And the next continuance date I have is March 9th.
30 days.
Today is 10, okay?
Mhm.
Oh, wait a minute, something about that day.
I hate it when that happens, it's like something about that day.
What day did
What
we
day?
suggest?
March 9th.
I could probably make that's a win, yeah.
That's
I just
what-
have to get reevaluated for soil evaluations, and it's
Okay.
that day.
Okay, do you want the
But-
next date on the 16th?
I think so.
Okay, that's fine.
I make a
And then,
motion.
oh, one more thing, Jeff, when you come,
I'm not
when we
gonna
go
be
out there, there are a number of cedars that are, have gone missing over the years on the property. Not in that general area, but down over here, and we'll point those out to you. Okay?
When you say over
Okay, yeah, we're out,
north
yeah,
or south?
no, north,
North.
Up in here,
yeah.
okay?
Okay, at the request of the applicant, I move to continue this to, what did you say, the 16th of March?
Yes, second.
So we have a motion by Betsy and a second by Mary to continue to March 16th. Any other member have an issue with the date of March 16th?
I just want to make it, I'm not going to be here.
Okay. Anyone else? Everybody pretty confident? Nobody's got vacation planned, I just don't want to have a quorum.
Well, we have 6 of us
Yeah.
without.
Okay.
April and May, I'll be-
Because they're going to get everything they want.
All right, any other questions or comments from the commission?
There you go.
Comments, questions from the public? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. We'll see you on the 16th on that one.
Yes,
Jeff.
thank you.
Thanks, good night.
Right,
Good night, thank you.
Okay, next up is Town of Falmouth Water Department, care of Steve Rafferty, Gifford Street, map 35-05-001-000, Falmouth, Mass. For permission to clear the existing overgrown access path to access and remediate 2 firing ranges that include removal of approximately 150 cubic yards of contaminated material from FR1 and approximately 450 cubic yards of contaminated material from FR2, regrading to blend with the existing grades or the addition of excess sand from Long Pond Water Treatment Plant site and the associated clearing, excavating, grading, and landscaping. Jen?
I'll save any of my questions until after Mr. Rafferty's very brief presentation.
Thank you for allowing to present tonight. Are there any questions? No. I am Steve Rafferty. I'm the water superintendent. Tonight with me is Patrick O'Neill from Tater and Howard. Patrick's going to pass out the green cards. And he's also going to give you an updated site map, because the site map that was in the application drew a 50-foot buffer instead of the 100-foot buffer, so I thought we should show you correctly how it is. Very, very briefly, just to orient you here, Gifford Street runs along, Goodwill Park, the new water treatment plant's going in, and historically, the town used this parcel in here as a gravel pit a long time ago. Then after that, they used it as a rifle target practice range. This is actually the site plan that you should now be getting passed out. What we're asking for your permission is to use the access road that was built in a number of years ago to the rifle range to access to this area, because we need to remove, as noted in the write-up, about 600 cubic yards of soil from that area. Quick background here. A year ago, last August, while we were out there mapping, this gravel pit was excavated down to basically the groundwater table. Vegetation and wetlands have reestablished themselves in that area. We mapped them out. The 100-foot boundary buffer off of that wetland transects, if you will, the road in and out. I have driven in and out on that road in a Blazer. I brought the conservation agent in with me. We want to not grub, but just cut the brush back along that road so that the vehicles, which will be dump trucks to haul the gravel out that we excavate, can get from Gifford Street into the site and get back out. That's as brief as I can be. I can talk about what the project is inside, but it's beyond the area that we would be interfering with or needing your permission to work on it. And any deep technical questions, I will defer to Patrick.
Jen?
I have no questions.
Mary?
I have a question that occurred to me. It's not, I don't want you to think that I'm challenging this submission, because I think it was a very good submission, but you've got these measures to protect the box turtle. And there are these 2 plant species that are also designated for protection. And I'm just wondering if any thought was given to, surveying them, or is there anything that can be done about those? And I would say, given that they're susceptible to water drawdown in the area where they're growing, we've already got a problem. So I'm not really expecting you to be able to address this. I'm just curious, really.
Again, Patrick O'Neill, Tate and Howard. We have spoken to Oxbow, who was our sub-consultant, specifically for the turtles. And the mitigation program that we're planning on using here is the same that's been implemented and approved by Natural Heritage for the water treatment plant site. So we think we can effectively isolate using the silt fence. We'll survey with Oxbow to check for turtles prior to construction. The staff, contractors will be trained to look for the turtles during
Right,
construction.
no, I'm asking about the plants.
The plants, in talking to, again, Oxbow's wetlands specialist, he said they're associated with the wet area and the wet meadow, and so our work is, although we cross the buffer zone, the plants aren't associated with the buffer zone, and the silt fence will protect
Okay.
any of our work migrating
So you
into
do
that area.
know where they're concentrated and,
Yes.
good. Okay, that's all, thank you.
Betsy?
So my question, Pat, is, and you don't have to give a long, detailed explanation, but I'm just curious as to what your sampling scheme was to determine where the volume that you have to remove is.
We did, during the evaluation, we did 80 test borings.
Okay.
In this range and that range. Each boring, we sampled at two different levels for total lead.
The depths, horizontal or?
Vertically.
vertical? Okay.
To check how deep it was. And then the location with the highest lead concentration, we put a monitoring well in and checked the groundwater,
To see
which
if there's
was
any lead.
non-detect.
Mhm.
And then again, the location with the highest lead in the soil, we did a TCLP test, which is toxicity characteristic leaching procedure to determine the leachability of the lead at that high location, to get the
Actually, Mike told me
characteristics
about
of the,
At lunch yesterday. Mike explained what that was to me at lunch yesterday.
okay.
Okay, good. And so with that, you could basically can three-dimensionally map where the problem area is, and that's what's going to be removed.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
We excavate to clear margin.
So beyond where you found the problem.
Beyond where we think it is and make sure that what we take out is clear.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Mike?
From this commission, I have no questions. You're fine. I got a whole list of heads running through my head, but they don't pertain to adios.
I have a feeling I should invite you to come to the site of the new water treatment plant someday, and we can have a nice conversation.
That's fine.
I'd like to go. Can we all go see the water treatment plant? Can we have a tour?
Yes, you can.
Good.
Pick a day, noontime.
All right.
There you go.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
I reserve the right to tell you you can't come that day because we're doing a big pour. We do pours between 100 and 180 yards at a time, and when we are doing those type of big pours, there's quite a bit of pumping and truck traffic, but, that's usually 1 or 2 days a week at most that we're doing work at that level.
Yeah, that'd be great. Jen, you wouldn't mind setting that up for us, would you? I knew you'd like to.
The enthusiasm, John.
It's exuding.
I'd be happy to.
I only had, everything's been covered except one thing I did have a question about, and I did talk to Jen. The area where you might have to bring fill in, that it not be used at all, you don't get anything from the town landfill, that you
Oh,
use
no.
it? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Already had a conversation.
where we're building the treatment plant right now, we have some
You're gonna use that.
excess sand.
That's all I want.
And it's more sand than anything else.
It would be more native to what is in that area.
As we cut the hill back, we want to grade it. Right now, it's a fairly steep bank.
Yeah.
When we get done, we want it to be a more gradual bank. I think of it as an ideal place to go sledding in the future.
I was gonna say, are you gonna vegetate it or do anything to it, or just let it just
No, we're actually
grow on
going to
its
cut the
own?
brush down, and after talking with Mark suggested we leave the brush there,
Yeah.
just to naturally decompose and not haul it off the site, so we're just going
And
to...
I like the idea of not grubbing out the road, so I'm happy.
There's no need to.
No, that was not a good thing. Thank you.
Kristen?
Good project.
I have no questions.
Courtney?
I mean, what, you must follow specific protocols for determining that you've reached the limit and there's no more lead. And do you provide, is that part of your sampling documentation and all of that?
There'll be a professional on-site sampling. We actually excavate off and put it down on plastic,
Yeah.
measure the soil
Well, I
after
mean,
we
in other
excavate it
words,
down,
it's not-
stabilize it, and then haul it off-site.
It's not some sort of hit and miss thing, oh, I think we covered it.
No, and actually,
You're following
if you
specific-
delve into the borings that we took, I'm fairly confident that we know where the edges are right now. You'd be amazed, people go to firing ranges, they don't shoot over here, they shoot there.
Oh, I know.
It's a good idea.
All set, Court?
It's all.
All set, Court?
Yep.
Okay, what's your pleasure?
Make a motion to close the hearing and take it under advisement.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion
Thank
by
you.
Betsy and a
Thank you.
second by Mary. Any other comments or questions from the commission?
We'll be calling you, Steve. We won't put the burden on Jen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just do a sign-up sheet
Yes.
by email and get it done.
Well, you guys gotta let me know where you're going, because if there's.
Yeah,
more
if
than
we are
four
going in
vehicles,
there, we know that.
I have to post.
We know.
Okay,
I can have it on my list of things.
we have
Thank you
a,
for
we
reminding
have a motion and a second to close the hearing. No other comments from the commission, comments from the public. Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very
Thank you
much.
again, Patrick.
Okay, continued request for hearing under notice intent. Marie Cromwell, 36 Westwood Road, North Falmouth, Mass. And this one's already been read into the record. Let me get something hooked right there. Hang on, hang on.
Oh,
Raul,
Don't break the place.
what are you doing? Oh, you don't have a board, okay.
was he trying to get it up?
Well, there's nothing on the easel. They're usually.
No, but he's trying to get you were trying to get the screen up, not
Yeah.
down.
Okay. Jen, did you have anything before we start?
Now,
Yours, I didn't.
Yes.
I don't.
after
Oh,
Raul's
maybe this will be.
presentation.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks. While we're always passing this out, I'm gonna make a comment. Back in the old days, when
Thank you, Raul.
three of us were on the board in the old days, we always used to get just black and white things that were very difficult to read.
We had to bring our own
And
crayons.
we had to bring
Yeah.
our own crayons. And now we got these lovely colored versions.
It's very
Yeah,
nice.
it does
We're
very
from Holmes
helpful.
and McGrath, we do, and
No, from some of the
Mike
others.
Porcelli.
Mike Porcelli and
Good evening. For the record, Raul Lizardi from Holmes and McGrath. This is a continued hearing from 2 weeks ago. Mainly the continuance was to clarify the plan to make it more in keeping with the proposed written presentation on the planting plan. So this plan now, what I've highlighted in color, there's two different greens. A lighter green, which represent the mitigation plantings from the original order of conditions, which were closed through a certificate of compliance in 2011. Those areas are the light green areas and 10 trees. The 10 trees were all cedars. The darker green is what we're proposing now as additional planting. There's an existing path in this area that we're proposing to close. Same path as shown previously 2 weeks ago. The area was also clarified to show what was proposed as mitigation along the top of the coastal bank for the original order of conditions. And it shows the specific areas that have been cleared by people who access the site and sit in the area on top of the coastal bank, on top of the stones, which has created some sandy, cleared areas that we're still calling for those areas to be planted with beach grass. So this plan now depicts the mitigation plantings from prior orders of condition. The areas are kind of still vegetated, but what's happened is the invasive species have taken over and have killed some of the existing vegetation. In addition to all these new items depicted on the plan, we located all the trees that are 4 inches or higher in caliper, and we located on the plans. 10 of those trees are the 10 trees that served as mitigation from the prior order of condition. 4 of those 10 trees from the prior mitigation are considered dead now, and we're going to be replacing them. They're identified with an X. In addition to those 4, there are 2 other trees that were not part of the previous mitigation that are dead, and we're proposing to remove them and replace them. Some of the notes have been changed to kind of keep it in compliance with the written report from the planting plan. And there was another correction. We had called this beach area a beach, but we corrected it to call it a rocky intertidal shore. And with that, I'd like to have Maria Hickey introduce the planting plan for you.
Good evening, Maria Hickey Landscapes. And I went out to the site after our last meeting with the survey crew, froze my rear end off, but we identified all the trees that were 4 inches higher in caliper. And I was happy that I could actually really walk around in some of the areas, because when we did this original application, the site was still foliated with vegetation. It was so overgrown. So it was really difficult to determine what was still alive and what was being compromised by the vine. So it was nice to get that clean look. I think the biggest thing that we wanted to reassure you with, first of all, anytime that I come before you all with an application, I'm actually doing the work. I don't sub anything out. I have a crew of 9 guys, and I love getting out there and getting dirty, and Jen can attest, because she sees me coming into the office. I don't look like this when I go in the office. So the areas of concern that we have are this existing path, because everyone is trespassing on it to go and sit on the wall, and when they sit on the wall, they're eroding away the wall, the vegetation, et cetera, et cetera. So the biggest thing that we wanted to talk about is replanting and closing in this path. Mary, I think it was you that had mentioned at the last hearing about why not just put up a fence?
I said it.
Okay, Betsy. And when I mentioned that to the client, she actually thought that was a great idea, because their other concern is that by just planting it, people may still trespass, and they don't want their new plantings to get trampled on. So they would like to ask the board to consider, putting maybe a 40-foot fence that goes, from the tree down to the top of the wall, just so that people can't get through there.
But the other,
You can, it's in
more
a
is
visa.
concerned because it's the velocity zone.
Remember
Yeah,
McGann?
It's a problem.
Okay. Okay.
Also, sorry. Not following protocol.
Continue,
So even
Maria.
like a split rail fence, same thing, right? Because you,
Correct.
okay, all right, then we'll table that request.
Plus, I'm not sure people would honor the intention of a split rail fence. I think they'd just crawl through it.
I know. And there was just so much
Plant
trash.
poison ivy.
Yeah, I can put
Yes.
some.
Seriously.
Yep, and there already is some there, but it
And
hasn't
seed it
stopped
with
them.
ticks.
And Zika's.
Okay.
But I
Goodness,
can
this is
put,
getting out of control
I
over
can,
here.
in the combination with the beach grass, put some Rosa virginiana, because the thorns hopefully
Yeah,
would
yeah.
deter them from going in there. But that's a concern. We don't want people to continue to trample. And there's a concrete pad that comes off the deck, and that's the natural place of where we would put the path to the wall. So close this one out, move it over to here. And then the reason that we want to put native perennials on either side, just bordering that path, is when you put native shrubs, they grow bigger, and we know that we have the right to maintain the path. I really don't want to cut anything back. With perennials, at the end of the season, they die, they come back up the next year. So there's not that need to be constantly pruning and maintaining a path. So just for ease of maintenance and keeping everything low maintenance. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. So, all the existing mitigation plants are fine, they're looking healthy, so we're really happy to see that. And again, we're coming before you voluntarily asking permission to do something to improve this area. And we appreciate your help and guidance and support.
Okay, all set? Jen?
No. No comments. I think it was just a comment made at the last hearing, I was just reviewing my notes that the trees need to be replaced in the same area.
Yeah, which we're gonna do.
The ones that you're removing, but, are you gonna grub those trees out, Maria, or just
Yes.
flush cut them?
No, I'm gonna grub them out because,
So is there a way the new ones could go back in that
yes,
area?
yeah.
Okay, yeah. that's
You
what
know,
I
because
was
I want the
thinking.
space in the ground, and
Yeah.
dead roots aren't serving anyone any purpose
Okay,
when I can plant something there.
okay. That's, all right. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Betsy? Mary?
No questions.
Mike?
No question.
Lori?
And now that you saw it, you will protect all the native species that
Oh,
are there?
absolutely.
The sumac and all that?
Absolutely.
Okay. And then,
Yeah, I think we'll say call us to review and photograph.
Oh, yeah, and you know me, I love taking
Yeah.
pictures, so that's not a problem at all.
and then the only other thing, I was a little opposed to the geotech cloth, the fabric cloth being pinned, but I talked with Mark and Jen, and they said that they've seen some of your jobs where you do leave the bigger area,
I
so we
do.
can watch it and see. So I'd like to watch that as an experiment, because.
Great.
Okay.
Okay.
And you're not bringing any compost or dirt from the town landfill?
Oh, God, never.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Well, it has to get out there, that it's loaded with invasives.
I know. I don't know if they don't cook it hot enough and
They
long
don't.
enough,
They
but
don't.
it's just,
It's like bringing in stuff from not even here.
I had a client once, like 10 years ago, that went and got some and put it as compost, and to the day, they're still struggling getting the weeds out. It's awful.
It's awful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kristen?
And thank you for doing all the things we asked.
Courtney?
No problem.
So on this abandoned path that you're doing, which is to discourage, you're planning it to discourage folks from using it,
Correct.
and old habits are hard to break. Are you going to put some kind of fence, or are you going to plant the whole thing with poison ivy along with your other things? How are you going to
We just said we
discourage it?
can't do a fence because it's in the
It's
velocity.
in the velocity zone.
Poison ivy works. It's a
Yeah,
native.
poison
isn't it?
ivy. Poison
And there's
ivy
already
and
poison
sticks
ivy out
are
there, trust me.
your Thing tonight, so.
But the poison ivy didn't really deter people, because the biggest area of poison ivy I
It's right
found,
where it's all disturbed.
yeah,
Maybe not, it doesn't deter first time.
I know.
Visitors.
But I think the Rosa Virginiana will, because nobody likes getting
Yes.
mauled by the thorn.
Yeah, I think Rosa rugosa is used that way a lot.
Yes.
In these parts.
Can
I'd
I
like to make a motion
No
to
other
close.
questions.
And take it under
Yep.
advisement?
Yep.
Second.
So we got
Betsy.
Betsy?
All of us.
Yeah, and Mary, I think, was on the second.
We felt onions presented for the RDAs.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other comments or questions for the commission? I have one. We just did the Chappaquoit. Are we gonna allow them to put a split rail fence up?
You haven't
No.
deliberated that yet.
I understand that. So
Well,
we didn't reject it, we kinda left that open.
Staff is gonna recommend no.
no.
Okay. Okay.
And if
And I
we
can
get
give
that
you
out
a
there.
Very good,
reason
clear
why.
reason why, yeah.
Okay, I agree. I'm just
Yep.
saying that was kinda left open.
Well,
Okay.
we will make sure that Mr. Ryder is aware.
Okay, very good.
And are we going to condition this with an ongoing program for invasive controls?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Well, I mean, we're on top of it, so.
Any other questions or comments from the public? Okay, hearing none, let's call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice night now.
You both.
We have to vote orders of conditions.
Well, we got one more
Whole
thing.
stack of them.
You got to vote compliance of outstanding enforcement orders, 55 and 63 Gerard Ave, and 20 Wheeling Avenue. That's Jeff Loy et al. Jeff
At
Loy?
all, yep. Okay,
Yep.
so the board
And
will
others.
remember this one, this was the dune issue. When the resident hired a local landscaping company to do some beach maintenance, they got a little overzealous and dug in it, I'm being quite nice, and dug out a coastal dune and spread it all over the beach at this location.
We got to learn new words for
Yes,
this.
you did. So anyway, it has been resolved, the dune has been replaced.
I think I missed
The town survey crew has gone out there to determine that it is the correct size, and meets with the plan. I got an email from Peter that says it conforms to the plan that was submitted for restoration. Dune has been installed, and Pat Harris, in order to close this out, wants an official vote of compliance from the board.
I make a motion that we accept the compliance.
Second, dune grass is planted on the.
Yep, Maria did.
Maury with the motion, Betsy with the second. Any other comments or questions?
Glad to get rid of this one.
Hearing none, any comments or questions from the public?
I planted the dune.
Good.
I did a damn good job.
We hope it stays.
Good night, Maureen.
Okay, hearing none, I'm going to call for the vote to close this one. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Okay, now on to vote orders of conditions.
Mr. Chairman, 1 second. Chris, are you here for a specific order of conditions?
Yes, 77 North.
That's what I thought, Mr. Chairman, can you take that one out of order?
Absolutely. 77 North Bonds Pond Road.
All of us.
All-
Quorum?
You want
I
me to
think
tell you?
everybody.
Yeah. I think it's everybody.
Everything right, too.
Yep. And Jamie was here, but he's not here.
This is the pool.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
I think we were all on that one, Betsy.
Yes, we are.
Did they give us a plan, Jen, for the existing trees and species and size?
In the data sheets,
Yeah, he said he was gonna give us that.
I got the data sheets. Revised salt market, what's the bank notes, I got the data sheets. And we wanted a plan with UDW data sheets, we got, show limit of work landlord of 18 feet high. I'm not looking at the existing one.
Ooh, you got something January 20th on it.
Yeah, so, just anyone from the 20th would be work.
Well, didn't we see it on the 27th?
Yeah.
So that's,
So anyone on the 27th,
it would have to be after the
I
27th.
think everybody was.
I have a landscape plan dated the 20th.
Okay, that 18-inch pine, Maura, you wanted the limit of work to be on landward of that. And that was not revised on the plan, that's a condition.
Okay.
Did the limit of work be, go around the 18-inch pine
Yep,
by the corner of the pool shed?
yep.
So that needs to be condition. And we got a revised narrative.
Oh, in the salt marsh, you got that?
Yep,
Okay.
and we,
Actually, it was on the landscape plan that we needed the existing trees and species and
Chris,
size.
did you do that on? Oh,
That
ask your question.
information's on the facility plan.
Okay.
Right, but we asked for it to be on both plans.
we'll just condition it to add a new landscape plan.
Okay. And the only reason is if the landscaper gets this plan, and it's not that,
So what do you want on the landscape plan, Mark?
what's on Mike's plan,
The trees.
the trees,
The trees, okay.
the existing.
Existing, okay.
Yep. And she was supposed to put yeah, that was it. That's all I had for notes.
Trees that were gonna be removed.
Yeah, because the calibranches of trees were not shown on the landscape plan.
So that's what you want, the tree mitigation on the landscape
Yep.
plan. Got it.
And the,
Where they're gonna be.
and where they're gonna be, yeah. All I have is for notes is need existing trees, species, and size on the landscape plan.
We have on the revised one dated, or, yeah, okay, I get it.
Okay,
I'll look.
You'll find it.
Condition to get in the plan.
all right, thank you.
Anything else? We'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to accept the order as discussed.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion by Maureen, second by Mary to accept as discussed. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Okay, 64 Karen Jane Avenue.
We were all here
Yeah.
for all of these. So
Okay, the quorum was
so it's
everybody.
everybody except Jamie's not here, so.
Does somebody have a landscape?
Yes, I do. Dan, we already did Associates Road. We already did.
We've already done it.
The yacht club. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's continued,
Continued.
To
March
March
16th.
16th.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Karen Jane Ave is
Enjoy.
the,
It's the sheep island behind, yeah.
The Chillo.
Central Ave.
This one was the easy one.
Oh, Karen Jane.
Yeah. The sheep island, we're gonna redo the sheep island.
There were two different, there were
And
two
who's gonna
different,
do it behind? There are two sheet pile projects. The other
Right.
one was
good night, Sam.
good night,
Night,
Sam.
Sam.
Right, Sam?
There were two different
Yeah, that's a good,
NOIs from these people, weren't there?
yes.
Yes.
Jen, which NOI is this? Did we already?
The
This is
wall.
a sheathing.
This is the wall, okay.
Just as a sheathing.
Yep,
Yeah, I didn't have any problem with this.
not me neither.
Proposed seawall repair refers to sanctioned by structural engineer and notice of intent application.
They actually scaled, they
Yeah,
were gonna do a lot less impact.
so it's just, all we're concerned about is protecting that salt marsh to the south.
Yep.
So I move we accept as discussed.
And yeah, and the only other thing we asked is that they put the public access signs on the dock.
Right.
Signs on the dock that was in their order, their old order.
He says, motion by Betsy. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mark. Okay. Any other comments, questions? Comments? Nothing? Okay, we'll call for the vote then. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. 247 Central Ave, Sawyer.
This was the one by LEC where they were planting, where they have the little beach and the salt marsh. And they were undertaking an enormous replanting plan to comply with. Anybody else?
Yep,
I'm trying.
they had a lot of bad stuff going on and they were fixing it.
So
Yeah,
this is what, this is
we're, that's,
286.
we're listening to you, but we're kind of recalling what it was.
Okay, yeah, so they had all the chairs and the fire pit and everything in the resource areas and the buffer, they're replanting everything. They're maintaining, a small path near the edge of the salt marsh. I believe they submitted their BBW data sheets, but if not, we'll special condition that. BBW sheets, and does the board want a monitoring component on this?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I also have, somebody wrote a letter in on this one, which is in the record, came to everybody. And so what they said was, and I'm not quite sure how they're gonna do this, they're only gonna repair their side of the damage that's down by the corner,
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
which I guess, I mean, it sounds as if they were the ones that caused this damage on their neighbor's land. So it's kind of a shame that we sort of didn't pin them down and have them talk to their neighbors and have their neighbors agree that they could fix it at the time. But a special attention should be paid there because they said they sort of want to restore it as a marsh, but they didn't really say how they were going to do it.
Because I asked about that, whether that was the neighbors.
That's
Yeah,
area
yeah,
one.
and then I followed up when you said that, and I said, so that means you're only gonna do your half? And they said, yes.
Okay.
So I would ask for some details as to what their restoration in that area was gonna be.
I didn't see it in LECs.
I think they just said they're gonna restore it,
Yeah, that's
and I'm
exactly.
gonna win the Super Bowl next year.
Okay, so you want more,
Yeah, I'd like a little,
submit detail on area one.
yeah,
And under staff's approval.
right.
Area one. Staff approval. Okay.
Sorry, staff.
It's okay. Just kick
That
me
was
when-
our fault for
Just
not,
kick me when
I
I'm.
wanna win, not lose.
Okay.
All right, is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Yeah, let's do a motion.
Move to adopt the order as discussed.
Second.
So we got Mary, and I'll take Mike on that, on the second. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved.
You think I've got one second.
Squid,
Hold on.
Good
knock
knock,
it.
Jack's wall.
yeah.
50,
Jack's Walls.
54 Squid Knock.
Your wall.
When you made
Next
it.
to one.
It's redoing that whole wall with the planting.
No, I thought that
Yeah.
was the deal.
Oh, this is Jack's wall.
Yes,
Yeah.
Jack's Wall.
Oh, this is, I like this project.
I did too.
Yeah.
What a nice
Forgot about it.
planting.
This was kind of a fun project.
Yeah.
Yep, different.
Yeah, so the last thing that was that he submitted the engineer's letter that addressed my concerns.
About the same?
Yeah, and then we have a special condition that all trees shown on Jack's plan remains.
Yes.
This would be a project, it'd be fun to take a field trip someday to see some of these interesting projects.
Just see
Down
it
the line.
put together.
Yeah,
How do we do it?
Some of them you'd be excited, and some of them you'd
I
not be
know.
so excited.
You know, you've been on this board long enough, and you already realize that.
You should ask Alex about some of her compliance visits.
She tells me every time I go in.
It's interesting. Okay.
All right, anything else?
Did we make a motion?
I make a
I'll
motion.
make the motion,
You
That's
love
got
this
that
one.
motion.
because I love it, to close, no, not to close the hearing,
To
to accept it as discussed.
And I'm gonna give Kristen a second on this. Okay?
Yep.
Anything else? So I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. Lot 103, Southview Way, Kara Peter Hargraves.
This one was a couple of different components.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're all-
It's all the
we're
same.
Yep.
This
While you had
one
vacation, we were all
was-
working.
One was they needed to file to submit a plan on how they are going to monitor the area of cattails they removed. Combined with this, they are asking the board for some beach maintenance activities, including putting some cubic yards of sand on the beach, trimming back vegetation, raking out the edge, the water line in the pond, so they have a nice sandy area to walk out and conduct yearly pruning near their, boat rack and bridge.
Over the river.
I know you wanted sideline delineations on that. Did they ever do that?
Yeah.
Yes,
Was that-
with the re-rod.
They put in
With caps on it.
rebar.
Yeah.
Rebar?
Rebar.
Yeah, but this is what I don't understand.
And it was, I thought you wanted a little closer together, but.
Like, what are the shots across the, like, here? That's what I was looking for, was shots across the plan so that we knew how far it was, instead of having to measure it, like I'm doing now.
Well, it's on the plan.
Okay.
We're all capable
And we
of
closed
doing
it.
things on plan.
I guess they want a fire pit too. Okay.
Where's the fire pit?
I don't remember.
I didn't see the fire pit, did I?
It's right on their original plan.
Oh, okay.
We didn't discuss that, did
Well, it was on the plan.
we? Well, I'm just
You had
trying to remember is why I'm asking.
Yeah. No, I don't think we
So
discussed
did
it. That's why
they,
we're discussing.
What do you guys wanna do?
I-
Obviously, you're gonna accept their mitigation for, or their proposed,
Enforcement.
accept their proposed,
Atonement.
their proposal for the enforcement. So that was the main driving force of submitting this. Now, the board needs to have a discussion on whether or not to allow the beach maintenance activities.
See, I have a problem, I have
I
a
do
problem with
too.
that.
I do too.
Just, that's kind of an open door, and it's,
Yeah.
I mean, if they wanna come back every couple of years and say, hey, you know, we wanna do this, we could probably, I don't know, can you?
Well, that's what it would be. Any of these beach maintenance, it's a three-year,
But it's putting the sand on the beach.
no, but I'm saying, but any of these beach maintenance, they're allowed to do something, and then if they want to do it again, they have to come
Well,
back
what we were
again.
discussing was to allow them to do it every 3 or 4 years.
Right, 2 to
Well, you
3, I
can't
think
do
is the
that.
way it was written.
Well, then let's,
They were
maybe.
talking every 2 to
But
3 years.
At any
Me,
rate,
it's
now,
just-
maybe that's something we can't even do within our regulations, but that's the way it was discussed. It was entirely open-ended.
Yeah,
my
just-
big
I'm not
concern is that,
comfortable with
you know, if you ever go around this pond, this was a man-made beach.
Right.
All these pond beaches are
I
man-made
know they're
beaches.
man-made pond beaches, and I don't know if it's good that we encourage them. I mean, I totally understand what they're trying to do, but then where do you go down the end of the road with everybody else? And, you know, at first it was 3 cubic yards, and then it was 9 cubic yards. And, you know, it's a 10-wheeler now, not a 1-ton dump truck. And, you know, and it all depends, I mean, the fines that are in it, where they get the sand, I mean, it's, I don't know. I had a problem with the sand. I didn't have a problem with anything else. I had a real problem with the sand, because they're going in and they're mucking out the bottom. And
Yeah.
if that's the case, then they can drag the sand that eroded back down in, because that's all that's happening, is it just keeps washing and making a bigger and bigger beach. That they go in and, if they can rake the leaves out, they can pull the sand back up
You can see
and put
a,
it on the beach.
you can
Yeah.
see a delta of sand
Yeah.
off
Oh,
the
yeah.
beach.
I also have a problem with it, given the history of how we got here in the first place. You know, it's not as though there's a lot of expertise being exercised here.
I would make a motion to accept this as it was presented, excluding the beach nourishment.
Okay, so.
Because that's what everybody's having
allowing them to
heartburn about, and I think
Yeah.
everything else is
Right.
okay.
Right.
Exclude beach nourishment, so allow them to prune, as long as they have the rebar and they're not, it doesn't go all the way to the property end. The staff doesn't have any concerns with that. I just wanted to make sure, you know, it stayed in that footprint, and the footprint of the beach area didn't keep expanding. Exclude beach nourishment.
So they just have to come
The
back.
only other, I personally had some concerns with the raking out of near the water's edge, but if the board's okay with that, it's fine.
Well, that's sort of all together, isn't it? That whole, you know, the whole beach thing.
Removal of dead leaves using leaf rakes.
Yeah, I'm
from
not sure they
pond
see it that
bottom
way, but.
Oh.
Out to a depth out to a depth
Depth
of
of 4
4
feet.
feet.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah, it's a
long
long
way out.
way.
Long
That's a
way.
long way.
So I want the board to think about that.
And we never made them do an assessment to know if there were the mussels and all those.
Natural Heritage weighed in
Did?
on that.
Yeah,
Okay.
we got a letter.
Okay.
On the beach
They
nourishment
weren't
thing,
concerned with that.
I'm happy not allowing it, but an alternative could be to allow it once and to condition it so that we really know what's going on. Or allow it one time, and then they can come back, rather than put in this language they were looking for.
That's what I would prefer to do.
Right there.
Okay.
But when they do it, they have to call they have to
The
report to the
office.
staff that they're gonna do it, how much is being brought in and what the source is. And a sample of the sand.
Yeah, they should.
Because you're right,
Right,
it
they-
would be a shame to have a lot of fines.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, we
that's-
usually require some kind of analysis, don't we?
Yeah, but this is not it.
I know, but,
I mean, Tom's right, it is generally a generally sandy area, but it's not this kind of pure white sand beach. But that's not what you expect to see at the edge of these ponds.
How about the raking of the
that's
dead
what they'd like
leaves?
to have.
So what about the raking?
Well, I think it's excessive
At
at the
4 feet?
least, yeah.
I mean,
Especially, well, what concerns me is they didn't do any soundings
Send-
to let you
know
know
how
how
far
far
out.
out
Yeah.
4 feet is.
Yeah.
So, what do you guys want to do? No raking? Yes raking?
Is it possible to say that we would have a decision on that contingent on knowing, getting some soundings? Or is it too late to do that?
It's kinda
Too late. I would just say no
this-
raking.
Does the application
raking.
plan show where the 4 feet of water
No,
is?
no.
No,
we
that's
just
what we're
said.
No,
saying.
there are
Okay,
no
so
depths.
if we want to allow it, then first thing is they have to delineate
We
it.
can't. We've
And then
already,
have us look at it, or staff look at it, and then
Staff's
we can
not
just
to
make
look
a
at it,
decision
guys
at
are-
that point, yes or no.
no.
This is already
It's already
closed.
closed.
Yeah.
So if the sand and the raking.
3 feet of water instead of 4.
But we don't know where that is.
We don't know where
We
that
don't
is.
even know where it is. It
I
could
would
be out
say
60 feet.
they-
It's a
they
shallow
could-
pond.
They can,
They know where it is.
Guys, let me put it this way, you either allow it or you don't. There's no gray area, there's no 2 feet, anything, that's almost impossible for your staff to enforce and to determine if it was done.
I'm not gonna
So
allow
you
raking.
either go for it or you don't. Okay? To modify it to say 3 instead of 4, 2 instead of 4, that's.
Well, not only that, but we're trying to do a cattail restoration there. So here we are, we're telling them to go muck around and take everything out that we're trying to get back to
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
Maybe after the cattails come back, after 2018, which is the end of their monitoring and everything's looking good, maybe then they can apply for another notice to do
Right.
that.
Reevaluate.
Or an RDA or something
Right.
at that point.
yeah.
I don't know.
In fact, what I would suggest is that we require some photographic monitoring of what happens the next couple of years. And so
Well, that's.
That's
yeah,
already
that's
in
That's
there.
already
part
in
of their thing.
their part of their
No, no,
cattail.
no,
Well, with
not
the
in
cattails,
cattails.
but
I'm talking about
The beach?
what the beach looks like and how much leaves collect, et cetera, so when
Okay,
they
then
come
we-
back, they can make an argument,
Okay,
Good idea,
yeah, to make their case.
okay.
because they're monitoring for the cattails anyway. And then
Okay,
we'll
so
know.
so we're
Okay.
not gonna do the raking then? Is that what I'm hearing?
Raking and
That's
nourishment.
right.
No, okay.
No,
But
you're
we're
gonna
talking
allow
about
them
one
to-
cycle of the,
One cycle of beach nourishment, notify
Within
us.
the next 3 years, one time they can nourish the beach.
okay, so you would put a motion on the table though, didn't you, Maury?
To not allow any beach
Right,
nourishment.
so
I
you
withdraw my
withdraw,
motion
okay.
of allowing no beach nourishment.
Okay, now, can I get a new motion?
I move we adopt an approval order that allows for beach nourishment once in the next 3 years and does not allow for raking.
Second.
And it does, and I'm gonna add to it, and that does require photographic monitoring,
That's
so they can show us what happens at the site over 3 years. What happens on the
Hang
land
just a
and at the
second.
water.
Hang on just a second. Are you good more,
Allowed
with,
for beach nourishment once in 3 years, no raking. And
Pictures on the land side and on the water side where the beach is to see what happens over 3 years.
And we have to put on there how much sand.
Yes, I agree.
Originally, they said that they wanted 3 ton, and then they went up to 9 ton.
Right.
3 ton.
Okay, 3 ton.
3 cube,
Three.
Yeah.
3 tons, 3
Yeah.
cubes.
It's 40 feet long. 40 feet wide. Well, it can, how long? I mean, it's
How many
probably,
cubic yards is 3
I
That's
ton?
where-
thought they
that's where I'm coming
originally
from.
asked for
Yeah,
3
before
cubic
we-
yards, and then it was 10 cubic yards.
I thought it was,
Nine.
went from 3 to 9.
3 to
Right.
9.
They switched it to tons, too.
It's 40 by 30.
Yeah.
And I can't do the...
40 by
He's
30.
doing the math quickly for
It's
us.
pretty close?
It's pretty close.
Tons
Yeah,
are
it's
close to
working on it.
cubic yards? Okay.
No,
No.
1.5 tons per yard.
Oh,
What?
1.5 tons.
Tons.
A yard weighs more, it weighs about 3,000 pounds.
Of sand.
Yeah.
How many cubic yards of sand would you like to put in?
So
Well, they're only going to get it by the ton.
3 tons is 2 cubic yards.
3 tons it is.
Is that correct? Matt?
Yes.
Mike?
1.5, right?
Yes.
3 tons is 2 cubic yards. 2 cubic yards equals 3 tons.
Got it.
If it's gold sand, it would be a lot more than that.
Or lead sand.
Or lead
From
sand.
there you go.
There you go.
All right, anything else on 103 Southview Way?
I make a motion that we, do we have one?
we
already
have a
have
mo,
one.
we had a
We have a
motion, and
motion.
all we were doing was tacking on the amount of
Oh,
sand.
second.
You need a second?
Do we need a second?
Mary, yes, Mary,
Mary made the motion, so
Russ
no.
doesn't want me to second.
I'll
He wants
second.
Kristen to second.
Yes.
Kristen.
I want you all to focus, please.
Yes, we're trying,
We are.
Thank you.
Kristen wants to second.
I'll second that.
okay, so you get that, Susan?
Kristen second.
Okay, very good. Call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. 302 Edgewater Drive East.
That was Wayne Tavares' plan, he's already sent me an email switching all the plant species I want. And with notes on saving the oak, I'll put that,
Wayne.
Wayne Tavares.
add Wayne email to the file.
Do we have the BBW?
We also asked for the
Yeah,
BBW
got him.
and the A and B zones to be put on the plan
Yeah,
for the
and have-
BBW.
Get him a revised, well, that's what I'm saying, revised plan with A and B zones.
Right, okay.
This is the one with all the
This is-
trees. This is the one that's
Yeah.
triggered.
Yeah.
And there really isn't another place to put the system,
No,
Yeah,
so.
it is what it
yeah.
is.
We
It
ready?
is what it is.
Make a
Yep.
motion to close the hearing and take it under, make a motion to accept this hearing is discussed. Accept
Second.
this project is discussed.
Got a motion by Betsy and a
Issue the order
second
of
by
conditions as
Maureen. Any other discussion? Hearing none, call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved.
I'm
Seven-
recusing myself from this. I'm just going to sit back because it's already closed. but-
Yeah. 17 Chase Road. You've got that right, Susan, Maurice?
We needed data sheets for this also.
I believe, I'll double check, but I know Tom sent a bunch of stuff, and they may or not be in there, Mary. They could be
Oh,
downstairs
could
in
be
my box,
downstairs.
but
All right.
if he hasn't given them to me yet, I'll have him do it.
What was it? Somebody had a concern of us. What was it, a swing set or something, Mary?
Yeah, there's a
Oh,
bench
yeah, new plan.
with
That has to
a,
be
it's
on.
kind of like an old-fashioned trellis gate structure. It's got a little roof and a bench built in. And I just wanted to put on the
put it
plan,
on the
especially
plan.
since they are keeping it.
That's staying.
It's in their interest to put it on the plan.
All right, so revised plan showing trellis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Was there any problem with the Memorial Garden? Was Memorial Garden in the back,
I
right?
think he answered my questions, they're doing the mitigation in there, and they're gonna come back, because where they wanna put the paths and everything is gonna be not in the area of mitigation, it's gonna be somewhere else. So, we can put a special condition that any paths, they have to come back to us, to the board for approval.
Yeah, any change to
Location,
what
yeah.
this plan is.
Okay, anything else?
Oh, yeah, and they had to put, three more trees in for
Add to.
3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Mitigation, yeah.
it was fine with me if they put the Tupelos in down in the lower area.
Mhm.
In fact, more appropriate to have those there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to accept as discussed.
Second.
We get Courtney and Mike. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved. 23 Zell Street,
That was the relocation of the house
in the driveway.
Well, the stairs.
and stairs, and
Driveway.
Raoul did submit, they did submit the location of the septic. There was concerns about the mounding. Take first.
I'm trying.
It's, yeah, I have a note that they.
10 seconds I just lost.
I know. So I think the board had concerns about what the plan actually shows is that the driveway, if you look at a cross-section, is gonna go like this off the property, so all the water is gonna sheet off. Because your high point, you get 10.5 in the circle of the driveway, and then 9 on the other
Yeah.
side. But what's that spot of 11.5 near the carport? So you go from 11.5 and 11.2 along the building down to a spot grade of, a proposed spot grade of 9, where they want to remove that stone pillar. So that's like a 1.5 drop in a fairly short distance.
Pretty steep.
And so I, other than that, I think that was the only concerns was, where the location of the septic is and everything. Apparently, they were out there today with kind of like removed all the snow from the site, and the neighbors were upset. So anyway, what's your pleasure?
Can we condition this so that somebody looks at it before they complete the project?
Well, what do you want to look at?
The grading, I don't know.
Well, I think that maybe we have to put in that there's got to be some kind of, well, there's a bylaw in the town of Falmouth that all runoff has to be contained on
Yeah.
your property
Property, yeah.
for new
So you know
construction.
It's a
Well,
pervious
we can-
cobble, it's a pervious cobble driveway.
Okay, first of all, let me just tell you about pervious cobble.
It
There's a
does-
dense grid layer underneath.
It
Yeah,
never,
right,
they
forget
compact
it.
it and.
So
Well,
basically,
so
I
I-
just
can
cover
I finish?
yourselves by just saying that all
Runoff
stormwater
has to be
runoff.
contained, and if they have to put,
Yeah,
they
on
have to
site.
put.
I was gonna say that they
swales
have to put some kind of box drains
or
or dry wells
Yeah, drains at the base of
of,
these driveways and
All
along the.
runoff must be contained on sites,
We just have a
sites,
thing that says that, the final design needs to be approved by staff.
yeah, installation of trench
go.
drain
Right.
may be required.
and maybe.
Will be required.
Will be required.
What
and
do you want, will or may?
Will.
Okay, install trench drain.
And final design to be approved by staff.
And since it is still in our jurisdiction, the property line to the west, maybe we could also require that they have staked straw bales,
Yeah.
just so if there is, while, during construction especially,
All right, where do you want?
on the west side, which is where
I'm looking at it.
Locust Valley Realty Trust.
You want it along the back property?
Yep, yep.
This would all be.
There's a fence there right now. They have a temporary fence, construction fence. Yep.
I'm just saying, there's a lot
Right
of
along
soil moving there.
So stick hay
And
bales
and actually, the driveway is on the property line.
on west property line.
Yep.
It's awfully neighborly.
Well, that driveway's not terribly neighborly. I feel sorry for the people who have lost essentially their whole view, and now they get to look at cars, but anyway.
Okay, anything else on Zell Street? I'll entertain a motion then.
Move to accept as discussed.
Second.
Courtney and Mary. Any other comments or questions?
I just had one more question, because it was on my notes. That cedar tree, it's okay where they moved it, since it's only 4 feet from one structure and 5 feet from the other?
All right, cedar tree location to be
Remember?
determined in field.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye. Done.
No,
All right.
I forgot about that, and that
Yeah.
was a good point. So the cedar tree relocation to be determined
At a
Prior-
location at least 10
in field
feet,
and approved by staff.
at a location at least 10 feet from any of the
Existing
buildings.
structure in the A zone.
Yeah. Well, that's going to be difficult.
Yeah, you can't do it. You can't do that.
Excuse me.
Yeah, that's-
Okay.
Can't do what? All right,
All right, any other discussion? No, hearing none, I'll call for the vote then. You're all set, Susan, with that? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions, unanimous, so moved.
Mr.
Mr.
Chairman,
Board is recused.
I need to recuse myself.
Good night, Courtney.
Good night,
Good
Courtney.
I'll see you tomorrow night. Oh,
40
wait, you're not gonna be there tomorrow night. That's why you sent me your stuff.
43 Sipawicet Road.
You're not gonna be there tomorrow night.
Here?
No, over there. Okay.
Side conversation.
Jen, we're extending this meeting.
I know, I'm
Yep.
sorry. Okay, this is to permit the, permitting of the reconstruction
Additional
of
wall.
the 3, small retaining walls on the property and the installation of mitigation plantings. There was some question of why they are working on coming in from the south, working on that first south wall, then doing the middle and the northern wall. I think that's gonna be a determination in the field.
Yeah.
I think that's, yeah.
I don't
Just-
have a concern with it.
Yeah.
I
You
think-
might just ask them. and-
Yeah, I think that the sequence is gonna be okay, how about we put sequence of construction
To be discussed.
to be
Submitted.
discussed.
Well, it's been submitted.
You know what, we'll just do that, you have to have a site.
If they change, if it's
Site
changed from
visit with
what's submitted.
staff prior to construction.
Construction methodology, whatever.
And the other thing I recall is that we well, we didn't decide, but it
No.
was suggested that the mitigation be twice what they
Everybody
were
gets treated the
proposing.
same way. We've never done excess mitigation in a situation like this.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Oh, okay.
All right, and then the only other thing I had on my notes, they said they weren't gonna put a limit of work. I don't think we've ever had a job that didn't have a limit of work. And for 2 reasons, that's a really, really steep bank. And I understand that they didn't want the vegetation, but once they take that old wall out, if they put a silt sock or straw bales, not on the wall
There's
2
no
and
way
3.
that silt sock's gonna hold back that
Right.
thing.
No.
There's way.
I know, so what are we gonna put there?
If you want a limit of work, because they're working behind it, it's kind of like,
Courtney's, no, well, he wasn't here. Tom's explanation is when they dig the trench for the wall,
Yeah?
anything upstream, water will go into the trench. It won't go down through the bank. Well, just
Yeah.
saying that that's what he said.
Well, I know that's what he said, but I dig dirt. I don't draw pictures on flat pieces of paper. And I know
I
what
bet you do
those.
that too.
I do that too, but the contours there are so extreme. It's literally almost
No,
vertical.
I know.
Did
but
did he offer to have something I thought we discussed this.
That there had to be a
And he
sock
said we were gonna
on
have
site.
something standing by, and if it looked, they
Right,
would go
yeah.
ahead and,
But on the plan, they show a limit of work, but then they said they didn't want a limit of work. It says proposed limit of work, and then he said there's not gonna be a limit of work.
Yeah, but I think we should require,
yeah.
And I don't,
be on
okay,
site.
so, do you want a limit of work to stop erosion, or do you want a limit of work
I want one for erosion.
Yeah.
as a clear boundary of where they can and cannot go?
Well, both.
They're not gonna, I'm gonna tell you, they're gonna go off the hill if they go outside of the limit.
Right. Yeah,
I mean, so
right.
that's its own limit.
Let's give it.
So, and a bobcat rolling down the hill of bale of straw is
Right.
not gonna help it. So, but at least if it pours rain or whatever, I don't know, and you're right, Jen, probably a wattle isn't gonna do it, a silt sock, but maybe have it on the site,
Okay.
okay,
Erosion
That-
control
on
on
site.
site.
Yeah, that was what
yeah.
was discussed.
'Cause
Problem
I'm
is-
pretty sure we discussed
Yeah.
that.
If you
We
get
did.
one of those torrential downpours, all hell breaks loose.
Erosion
Well, you
control-
understand, because they have to excavate down quite a bit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
no, erosion control on site.
Okay.
And I'm
And-
gonna set up a site visit with, I believe he said Hamilton was doing.
It is
work.
Hamilton.
Yes,
And
To
all,
discuss out with, I'm sure it's gonna be Jesse's crew out there to do that.
Yeah.
So I'll meet with them prior.
and make sure all excess fill is taken off site.
Okay.
All right, anything else? Hearing none, I'll call, entertain a motion?
To adjourn, motion to
No,
adjourn.
not that.
I make a
move to
motion to
issue the-
accept as discussed.
Second. And then I make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, so we got
We
Maureen,
have to vote on them.
and we've got Betsy.
Does anybody
Just a
have a really
second.
big
You're worse
elastic?
than all.
Any other comments or questions?
We have a second
Yeah, Betsy,
Betsy.
Betsy's the second. Maureen.
to the adjournment.
No, we're not there yet. We haven't voted
Hang on.
yet.
looking
All
at
the- all right, I'm gonna call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, no. Abstentions unanimous, so moved.
Motion to
Now I'll
adjourn.
accept it.
Second.
So we got Betsy and Mary. Okay? All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye. Abstentions?
Here, Jen.
Gee, I'm not sure.
Unanimous, so moved. We're adjourned.